So today I have the pleasure of talking to Taran. Taran, please introduce yourself and your company to the business community.
Hi Claire, thanks for having me. My name is Taran Singh and I run a company called Taran 3D. And we are an immersive technologies company. So we make immersive interactive applications. And we work mainly with engineering, manufacturing, and medical sector organizations. And we mainly create sort of training applications in VR and augmented reality applications in the heritage space as well. But out of our business, we've also had another sort of wing, sprout, which is a training wing as well, because there's a lot of interest in immersive technologies at the moment. So we have another business called XR Academy, which is all about giving people access to immersive technologies and training them up in immersive tech.
Amazing. And for how long have you been doing that?
So started the business 3 years ago, actually. About 6 months before the pandemic, I left my job at an engineering company where I was, so it was a architectural engineering company where I was doing research and development into immersive technologies for engineering visualizations. So 6 months before the pandemic, I kind of saw loads of opportunities out there, and I thought, I'd like to have a go at, trying to run a business. So it's the first business that I've ever ran. Thought it was a bit of a trial by fire.
Right, yeah, I mean, right at the start there of the pandemic. What were some of the challenges that you found at that time?
I think from my background, I had a lot of experience in terms of the technical aspects of my field, but in terms of business, I was very inexperienced. So I kind of set about just trying to learn about, what are the best practices for running a business, how to grow the business, and kind of a lot of it I just had to pick up as I went along. I also tried to look for places where I could get help. So I joined places like the Steam House, which is BCU's sort of makerspace hub. So it's an EU-funded space where you can get business support. So I joined that space, and I was able to get a lot of help and support. Just get the basics of the business sort of in place. So that was one of the biggest challenges I had. I think one of the other big challenges for a small business is visibility. Because obviously we had some capability, but obviously nobody knew about us. So it's about how do we get people to notice us? How do we get people to engage with us? And how do we start to win contracts and start bringing some money into the business so that we can grow?
Yeah, absolutely. And what would you say was perhaps one of your biggest learnings during that time?
I think it was the amount of energy and work that it takes to get a business started. I think that initial startup phase, I think that kind of surprised me. It needed quite a lot of energy, a lot of determination and a lot of push. And I think I had to sit down and have a chat with myself, really, just to kind of say, look, this is going to be very difficult. It's going to be hard. There's no other way around it. And you either got to be prepared for that, or it's best to just kind of leave it as it is. And so I kind of decided, actually, I accepted the fact that, it's going to be a bit of hard work, but it'll be worth it in the end. So that was one of the things I think I learned and made things a lot more easier for me once I accepted, this is the reality of, starting a business.
So powerful. And during that time, obviously you're here, you're flourishing. I've seen some of the amazing projects on your website as well. What's one of your biggest successes, or something that you're most proud of?
I think the one that we're most proud of is working on the digital version of Perry the mascot for the Commonwealth Games. I think that was one of the biggest ones, because I've obviously lived in Birmingham my whole life. And for the Commonwealth Games to come here was like amazing for everyone in Birmingham, but to actually get to be involved in it and work on, one of the first augmented reality campaigns for the Commonwealth Games involving the mascot, it was a great sort of achievement for us. Yeah, just to be involved in it, it was just amazing fun, and the mascot was amazing as well. Everyone loved Perry, and it was really great to sort of during the pandemics enable all of our communities to still engage with the mascot in a digital way, using augmented reality and Instagram filters, So I'd say that's one of the biggest achievements for us.
That's amazing, and what a project to be involved in, especially as you say in the local community as well. During that COVID sort of pandemic time and coming out the other side, are there things that you had to put in place because of the pandemic that you've now kept, or any practices that you think actually, yeah, we've adopted those to carry on forwards?
Yeah, so yeah, as a very small organization, I mean, we started off with, first it was just myself, then there was 2 of us, and then within a year we kind of like doubled to 4 people. At the moment we're at 5 people now, and I think we started off working remotely because we couldn't really afford an office, so working from home, and we've actually continued that practice, and it's worked really well for us. It's given flexibility to the people that we're working with, and also it's kind of enabled us to sort of manage, you know, our family commitments and personal commitments as well. And I think we've kept that going actually, and we usually work in the office 1 or 2 days a week only. And yeah, so that's I would say one of the practices that during the pandemic really helped us.
Fantastic. And you said, you know, that growth as well, that's from yourself to now a team of 5. Where do you see yourself in maybe the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, so we're actually at the kind of scale up phase at the moment. So we're looking to, I think we started off first just making really good relationships, making some really good strategic sort of, you know, relationships with organizations that we really wanted to work with, who could obviously help us raise our profile, but also give us a chance to kind of show what we could do. And I think that we've done that over the last 3 years. And now we're looking at sort of how do we scale up? How do we sort of increase the team, but still keep that sort of creative flair that we have? And we're sort of hoping to sort of double our team again, basically within the next 2 years. And also kind of branch out into kind of international markets as well, which we've already started to explore. So we'll be going to Singapore during the Christmas holidays. So we're going out there to, you know, requested by some companies, some contacts that we have there, to come out and do some demos. We've already been to Malta as well, and we've been exploring like work there. And there's a lot of interest for, you know, the type of work that we're doing. So yeah, we're just hoping to sort of like scale up and increase the capacity of work that we can take on, because we're at the moment, we're like kind of flat out at the moment. We're kind of, you know, pretty stacked out with work, which is really great. But at the same time, I think one of the issues that we're facing at the moment is a skills shortage. So in our field, because it's quite a specialist field, there isn't the skills or the training out there in the education institutions. So the way that we kind of tried to address that during the beginning was we actually created our own training program. So anyone who was coming in, we took advantage of the Kickstarter program. So anyone who was coming in, young people, we could basically train them up in the technology that we're using. And so we were able to then kind of sell that course on to other people as a boot camp. So we're doing a lot of like education and training around the immersive space as well. And so we see that part of our business growing quite considerably as well. So it's kind of grown to be about 40% of our business at the moment. And so we see it as a massive opportunity there. So it's kind of like trying to obviously build, it's kind of like a startup within a startup that kind of came about. So yeah, I see that side, you know, becoming quite, you know, quite a considerable business as well.
Amazing. And yeah, having that technology and being able to, you know, bring people in, train them, and then have the skills to work in your business, that's just phenomenal. How do you think you have changed since becoming a business owner?
Yeah, I think I've become more disciplined. I think I've become more resilient, because I think, yeah, I've become more confident as well. So I think at the beginning I didn't like doing interviews or public speaking, and kind of like, again, I had to have a little chat with myself and say, look, you know, even though you don't like doing it, it's something that's going to be necessary to grow the business. So you need to get used to it. So kind of like, yeah, I kind of like just suck it up and get it done. So yeah, I think all those changes that have happened, I think that my family as well around me have seen that I've become more sort of focused, and I think it's actually made me a better person overall. because, you know, I think going through that hard work, you're able to help other people get through their, you know, problems and issues. So I think having to go through quite an intense period of sort of starting a business and that growth, I think you know, it gives you quite unique insights that you're able to sort of speak to other people, help other people through any issues that they're sort of facing either in their career, or, you know, whether they're looking to start a business or, you know, initiative. So yeah, I'd say, yeah, it's kind of really helped me really. I think personally, it's given me a lot of sort of personal satisfaction in terms of I'm building something myself, you know, rather than just, you know, being somewhere. And I think the biggest kind of thing that I think that's helped me personally, my mental health, is being able to be in control of my kind of future and destiny. Whereas before I was just letting things happening to me, like, you know, whatever came my way, I would do it. And now I'm actually kind of engineering those things to happen. So I'm actually thinking about them like a few years in advance, and saying, actually, this is actually where I would like to be, and then making that happen. And there's a lot of sort of, you know, peace of mind and kind of, you know, clarity and, you know, satisfaction in that really, yeah.
That's fantastic. And as you say, yes, sometimes when we're in kind of that job role, we just, yeah, we come along and we kind of go as the career progresses, doesn't it? But now, as you say, you are the driver of your destiny, and you know, that's just so powerful. What do you wish you had known before you started?
I wished I'd known a lot more about kind of just how businesses work. So I'd never run a business before, so I didn't really understand all the things that you needed to have in place. But I was very good at learning. So, you know, I wished I would have maybe approached help sooner. So understanding that people in the business community are very sort of giving, very kind and very helpful. A lot of them, you know, they're willing to give you advice, and, you know, their experience is invaluable because they can save you a lot of time. So speaking to, you know, people who understand those things and can really kind of move you along really fast, you know, fast track you, saying, yeah, look, you know, and there's many different aspects to the business that I didn't know about, in terms of, you know, getting VAT registered, employees, and you know, pension, you know, contracts, IP, all these different areas, like, and I didn't really think of before. So it would have been good to get like a sort of like an overview of, look, these are all the different areas of the business, and then have a plan for how you're going to tackle these at different stages of your business. And I think that would have been really useful, because I think I kind of just jumped into it, and it was like, okay, yeah. And then it was like, oh, there's just things everywhere that need sorting out. But I think as well is just to say that, you know, things are going to be really messy at the beginning, and just accept that, you know, this is how it's going to be for a little while. And sometimes that you have to reassure the people who are working with you as well, your employees. You have to reassure them that, look, I understand things are really messy, and things aren't, you know, as great as they should be, but we're just setting all this up, and it's going to take a little bit of time. And so understanding that at the beginning would have been kind of, because I was a bit sort of panicked at the beginning. Oh, we haven't got this in place, we haven't got that in place, and we haven't done this yet, and there's like 101 things to do. But I think, yeah, I think you just have to just stay calm and tackle things one thing at a time. And I think, yeah, understanding that would have been really useful at the beginning.
But what a great piece of advice, just to tack one thing at a time and focus on that. And you're right, you know, in those early days, there's a lot to think about, but it does come together as you progress. So, you know, congratulations on where you are now. And just one last thing for you. How do you like to switch off from work?
I think I think that since running the business, I've actually become better at switching off from work, because like you have some intense period of work during the week, and then on the weekend I kind of like just disappear, like in it, like the business doesn't exist. And I think that was really good. Whereas before I was like trying all the time, I was switched on. But one of the ways I like to chill out is just like spending time with my family. So on a Friday night, we all get together, have film night, and, you know, spend time with my kids, go to the park on the weekends. And also I like to play on my PlayStation as well quite a bit. So on the weekends I have a good gaming session, which really helps me to relax. And also kind of meeting up with friends as well is really nice. you know, and I also love cooking as well. So I like to kind of learn new dishes and cook new dishes and invite people over. So yeah, cooking is amazing. Actually, I find that if you've had a really busy day, coming home and cooking something manually yourself kind of just gets you out of your headspace, and it's really good. Also, going for a run is fantastic as well. Just putting some music on, going for a bit of a run, even if it's 10-15 minutes, or go for a walk is actually really nice. Just some time for yourself.
Fantastic. Taran, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your knowledge and experience to your future success. Good luck.
Thank you very much.